Okay, so I promised I wouldn't MC, but I begged to introduce our next speaker. I'm so excited. Kimball's someone who, I'm very manly, obviously, but I don't hesitate when I say I absolutely love him. He's one of my all-time favorite people. Kimball, when we meet, like 7 years ago? Yeah. And I have to say, one of my biggest breakthroughs was going to different events and meeting the gurus, right? I had like all these idols that I looked up to. They were my gurus. And when I meet them, I'd have these breakthroughs. Some I were let down with. You have this idea that these people, have magical powers, or they have, this special power that I don't have. And so I meet them, and I just realize they're normal people. They don't have electricity coming out of their fingers. They're just normal, right? Some I was let down with. But Kimball, definitely not. He was someone who I idolized. When I was getting online, a long time ago, when I was really picking up steam, I started looking online like I did every night at 4 a.m. But I just kept seeing Kimball Roundy, Kimball Roundy, Kimball Roundy. He was the guy. Does anyone remember Spiderweb System? Yeah, you hear that? You see, you've been around. He was the guy. I remember Spiderweb System did what, almost 1 million leads in like 18 months or something like that. Yeah, and so he was the guy. And when I met him, definitely was not let down. And when I got to really know him, I come to really just understand he is probably one of the most brilliant marketers I've ever met in my entire life. Whenever I have a problem or stumped on something, I pick up the phone. He's one of the first guys I call. And he just gives me a shoulder. And I'm just so excited. I'm going to be in the back, and I want you to listen to everything he says. He's one of those guys that's been behind the scenes doing stuff. Are we ready with the cord? Okay. Talk 10 more minutes? Okay. He just put up a site, and I talked to Dagan. He's like, this is by far the best converting site I've seen in a long time. Everything he touches turned to gold. So I would like it if you guys give him a great ovation. You don't need to stand. If you want to, you can. But my friend, someone I love, Kimball Roundy.
Thank you, Jimmy. It's right there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I need this. Are we on?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
How are you guys doing? You having a good time so far?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to be up front with you to start this out. This is the first time I've ever been on stage. Okay. As Jimmy said, I've done a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Now I'm doing some stuff where it's, me front and center, and it's kind of fun. Except I can't go on Facebook anymore because I don't get anything else done. People are asking me questions like 1,000 times a day. To start off, as Jimmy said, my name's Kimball Roundy. I've been successfully running an internet empire since 2005. And I wrote that, I don't know, about 30 minutes ago, sitting over there. And then about 5 minutes ago, I was walking around out there with my headphones on, and I'm just trying to get psyched up for this. And I realized that that's only partially true. And you'll understand more about what I mean when I say that in a couple of minutes. But honestly, I think that could become true in about the next 30 minutes. Because to me, this is really what I'm supposed to be doing, is teaching and speaking. And you'll find out in a minute that I quite literally should be dead, according to all of the laws of physics and biology and whatever you want to talk about. But I was saved to do this, and it's taken me 7 years to get here. So I say, most people would consider, generating close to 1 million leads and making millions of dollars online, a successful business. But that's not what it's been about for me. It's been about getting to this moment right here. And one of the crazy things that I realized this morning at like 5 in the morning was today's February 22nd. And ever since I was in high school, I've had this kind of weird thing with the number 22. It's kind of like you're on the right track. I see it, and it's like almost like deja vu. It's like I know, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. And to me, I almost cried this morning because it's 2:22, and I'm finally potentially going to accomplish what I'm really here for, what I'm really alive for. Go ahead and move forward. I don't have a thing.
The clicker's on the table. Right behind you.
Oh, this one? Not this one. Oh, there we go. So, question I want to ask you guys right now is it really possible for you to build a successful internet business? Yes. Okay. Really, if you sit here and ask yourself, deep down, when you're home alone, not in front of a group of people, hunkered down at your computer, trying to figure this stuff out, do you believe that it's actually possible?
Yes.
Great. Great. And you guys should get a lot out of what I'm going to say here today. That picture over there, well, you know what? Before I get into this, I'm going to do something that could be really fun for at least one of you. It might offend or piss off some of you. I know one person in the back I'll probably hear scream because she knows what's coming and she's already upset about it. Let's see. This is a nice, shiny, new, it has this weird hologram thing on it, $100 bill. First person to bring me an unopened bottle of water, I'll buy it from you for $100. Unopened bottle of water.
Can we leave the room?
Anybody, just bring me a bottle of water, whatever it takes. Don't steal it from somebody else. I know, I should have gave you a heads up and let Jimmy have it, but. Oh, almost. Those are full. Unopened, not full, unopened. Yeah. There's none out there. Wow, somebody's going to go spend $5 at that little store over there and make 100. My daughter's, dog? Yeah, her name was Bentley. She became a bull in a china shop, and we decided to let her go, but she was an awesome dog. That and there was hair everywhere. I can't stand dog hair. There it is. Okay, in order to get this, you got to come up here and let me do some things. There you go. Okay, so question is, did I just get... Thank you, by the way. Thank you. This is going to be fun, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to learn something infinitely more valuable than that. But you guys out here, did I just get ripped off? No? Wow, that's a good answer. This is a demonstration that I've seen done a few times, and I've always wanted to try it. But like I said, I've never been on stage, so I figured why not now, right? Only I'm taking it to a whole new level. What is... This is something that if you internalize this, especially what's about to happen, and you really believe it and you really see it and you get it, and you start to run your business based on what we're about to learn, there's no limit to the amount of money you can make. So, another question. How much is this bottle of water worth to me? $100? Good answer. Anybody that just said $100, you're wrong. What is this bottle of water worth to him? $100? Anybody that just said $100, you're wrong. In fact, $100 is the exact amount that this bottle is not worth. It's a little mind bender here. Let me explain why, okay? I was willing to give him $100 for this bottle of water, which means that I value this bottle of water more than I value $100. He was willing to run however far he ran to get this bottle of water, and exchanged for me, he values $100 more than he values running for a bottle of water and bringing it up here. Okay? Now, why would I value this for $100? Well, there's nothing I'm not selling you anything here, but let's say that I was. Let's say I was on stage and I had a big group of people, and already after a few minutes, my voice is getting dry. If I don't have this bottle of water, it could cost me thousands. It could cost me tens of thousands. I've sold $20,000 on a single webinar, but if my voice goes out in the middle of that webinar, am I going to sell anything? Maybe. My confidence will be down, certain things will happen. So this bottle of water actually is very valuable to me. Right? Normally I wouldn't pay $100 for it, but that's just to try and make this a little extreme. So, now I'm going to give you an opportunity to, and all of you, if you can convince him to do it, an opportunity to learn how to build. Is there a light thing on here somewhere?
Top in the middle.
Top in the middle. Can you guys see that right there?
Yes.
Can you see these right here? You see that right there? That's yesterday. This is today, as I've been hanging out with my family in this hotel, getting ready for this presentation, sleeping. I've made $20,000 in the last 48 hours, up to $180,000 for this month right here. And I show you that, and that picture over there. If anybody can show you how to get to there, I think I can. And what I'm about to show you is how you can turn that $100 right now into a $100,000, $200,000 a month income. That $100 right there. If you're willing to buy that from me for $100.
Of course.
Yeah?
That's a no-brainer.
Okay, now you guys don't even have to convince him, but we're going to teach you guys at the same time. Okay? So, open this up. In fact, no, you can have this, but you have to do with it what's in this box. Go ahead, open the box. This is going to be fun.
Okay.
So, pull that out. What is that?
Ooh, what's rather?
You promised me you would do it.
Oh, yes.
You need to shred that $100 bill.
Put it on. The new one, shiny one.
Did that hurt? Did that hurt?
Oh, yes.
A little bit? There it is. Okay. Now, what can we learn from this? All right. I accomplished it. Thank you very much. I'm done. Whoa. No, really, this is a lesson that if you can internalize this and really, if I can, this lesson and one more lesson I'm going to teach you right after this, if I can accomplish these things, and I'll be able to walk out of here saying that I have been successful in my business. Because my business isn't about doing this at all. It's about what this allows me to do now that I've gotten it, now that I've made it to this point. So the reason that I did that, or had him do that, I'm not the one that broke the law, he is. I just stood here and watched. What you need to take from this is that $100 actually has zero value. There is no actual value. That's a piece of paper or cloth or whatever they're making it out of these days, plastic on it. That is simply, you could look at that more as a receipt. Okay? He created value for me. He ran all the way out there and got me a bottle of water so that I wouldn't have to have a dry throat. And then I convinced him to buy this mysterious box. And he fully, willingly gave me that $100. Now, how did he earn that? He ran out there and came back. So what that was, me giving it to him, was a receipt. Thank you for doing that for me. I appreciate it. But there's no value in that. What the value was him running out there and bringing me water. And the value in this other exchange is me giving him a lesson that if he can internalize it and quit chasing the money and start focusing on the value of running and doing something for someone, or helping with an info product to teach someone something like this, it is very much worth money. And that right there is how you sell anything. I like to say that this that I'm talking about right here is how I sold a truckload of ice to an Eskimo named Jonathan up in Canada. You know, you always say I can sell ice to Eskimos. I didn't actually do that, but if I internalized this enough, I could probably go sell ice to Eskimos. The thing that you need to take away from this little object lesson is that you can make as much money as you possibly want if you stop chasing the money, stop thinking about money, stop freaking out if you see $100, a piece of paper shredded, and realize that you can make as many of those pieces of paper as you want simply by learning something, finding a skill, doing something, going out there and doing exactly what Justin said to do. Find a product or service, find an audience to sell it to, and put a system together to do it. So you could easily take that, what you're learning right here, apply this, go create as much value, give and 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 give as much value as you can, and that's how you get there. Quit worrying about the money. So, as a reward for you stepping out of your comfort zone, there's $100. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now, what the heck is that? That's love. Yeah, you can look at it that way. That's a country song. Me rolled up under the couch, under my desk, when I'm trying to grow my internet business. And my first house, my wife and I had just quit my job, sold this stock because my company kind of took a shift in a moral direction I wasn't okay with. And it was right at that same time that I had found a mentor. I had started to learn some stuff from him. I bought a $39 book, and I just devoured the whole thing and did exactly what he said to do, because he had been successful and I was trying to figure out how. And I know a lot of you have probably bought tons of different stuff, and maybe you feel like you didn't get the value out of it. Maybe you weren't ready to get the value out of it. Maybe you didn't recognize some of the value that was there. Just like if I had just stopped and shredded that and walked off, you guys would be like, this guy's freaking nuts. What is he doing? Right? That's me when I was in the absolute worst place of my life. I was extremely depressed. I thought that I was suicidal. Sometimes, maybe back then, at times I was, and I actually would have rather just checked out. But obviously I'm still here, so it didn't happen. Back then, things got so bad. My beautiful wife is back there. So you can know it didn't get too bad because she's still here. But I was horrible. I'll be the first to admit it. I was awful. She would try and tell me that she loves me, and I would call her an effing liar. I would ask her every single day to shoot me in the head and put me out of my misery. If you were my spouse, and a spouse of someone that had that, and you guys have yourself or somebody you know who's gone through real, deep, dark depression, you ever had to deal with anything like that? It's hard. And that question mark in the middle there is the answer to, where are we at here? Am I doing this wrong? There we go. That right there is the answer of how do you go from being completely and totally, in every way, in every area, in every aspect of your life, depressed and a complete and total failure, alcoholic, drug addict, $195,000 in debt. How do you go from that to this? Anybody? What does that big red question mark signify? Mindset's part of it. Sorry, what? Yeah? It's a choice. That's it. Choice followed by belief, commitment, never giving up, not chasing the money. Back when I was in that place, I don't know how close to that time that was. I know it was within a year. When I was in that place, I was trying to do this internet thing. I'd worked for an internet company for 5 years before I quit and tried to start my own stuff. It was a search engine back before Google was even really around. And I was trying to land this big deal. It was actually with my wife's boss. I was trying to land this big deal to do some consulting for him and help him grow his internet business. And I finally got the meeting with him after being put off for 3 months. She was his assistant. She couldn't even get me in to see him for 3 months. So I finally get in there, and I'm talking actually with some of his people, and I had a huge amount of respect. He's actually the guy that I first saw do this. He bought a candy bar out of the crowd. He didn't shred it like I did. He just tore it up. And I had this so much respect for this guy, and I finally got into his company. I got in, I started talking to some of the lower level guys and explaining to them what I could do. And I'm in this conference room, and I'm just telling them, we can do this, we should do this, this is how we're going to do it. And I was just very, upfront. I knew what I was talking about, I knew what I was doing. And he pokes his head in and he said, "Oh wow, I thought that I was hearing me like in a video or something that you guys were watching. Like I thought that was me, but it wasn't, it was me." And that to me was like, oh wow, he just compared me and my delivery and my presenting ability to himself. So that was awesome. Then later that day I went in and met with him. I landed the deal. We go out with my brother that night to celebrate. My brother was the one that introduced me to him. And we decided we were going to go on a fishing trip the next day. This was November 7th, 2006. We're at Red Lobster, and we decide, you know what, the snow's coming this weekend. It's probably going to ice over. Let's go get one more fishing trip in. And fishing's been something that I've done all the way back since I was a little kid with my grandpa. So the next day, we get up early. We go up to this lake. It's called Strawberry Reservoir up in Utah. And we start this fishing trip. It's my brother, myself, his wife, and one other friend. And the fishing trip starts off really crappy. The water was perfect. It was clear glass. It was perfect water. Blue skies, not a cloud in the sky. And we didn't catch a single thing for like the first 3.5 hours that we were out there. Maybe 1 or 2 fish. So we decide we're going to go over to the lodge to, use the restroom, get some food, etc. And I remember thinking to myself, I had just been sitting in the boat reading a book this whole time, And I remember thinking to myself, I think I'm just going to go sit in the truck. I don't know if I want to go out there. It's cold. I mean, it was below freezing. It was really cold. And my brother and them are like, no, come on out. Let's go fish some more. So they convinced me to get back in the boat. And as we're pushing back into the water, I noticed it was a little bit choppy. The wind had picked up a little bit, and it was a little choppy. And, wasn't anything scary. And even better, the fishing just picked up. It was like as soon as the waves started, the fish just hopping in the boat. It was like a cartoon. Somebody had a fish on, one of the four of us had a fish on, pulling it in at any given moment. It's one of those days that turned from horrible into the best fishing trip of the year by far. I remember as I was reeling in my last fish, what ended up being my last fish, I'm leaning over the side of the boat. I got this net. I scoop the fish up. I bring it in the boat to take the hook out of its mouth. And when I set it down inside the boat, it was swimming. Probably not the best thing that could be happening right now, a fish swimming in the boat. The water's kind of supposed to be out there. Within 35, 40 seconds, that front of the boat kept getting splashed with waves, white cap waves that were coming, and the boat just disappeared. It was gone. It didn't tip over on the news. They were saying we capsized it or not. No, literally, it just filled with water, one wave after another, getting a little bit deeper, and then it just dropped straight out from underneath all of us. This is in November in a high mountains up in Utah. And the water was 41 degrees. Now, I've got a new boat. We bought life vests for the kids. We've got all this stuff. And it's interesting because it's like, I don't know if it's legally, it has to happen, but on all these life vests, they have this little flyer that shows you certain safety stuff. And one of the things that it has is a graph that says different temperature ranges of water, how long before hypothermia sets in, how long before you're unconscious, how long before you're dead. There's a couple of different ranges, right? Water that's 40 degrees, your average life expectancy, your past hypothermia, and your average life expectancy, according to them, they say 30 minutes. We are smack dab in the middle of a lake, 2.5 miles away from any shoreline. There were only 2 other boats on this lake, and it's thousands of acres, massive lake. No chance whatsoever that anybody's going to see us. We only had 3 life vests in the boat with 4 people. Hindsight, probably not a very good idea, right? So, the minute that the boat's gone, it's kind of like my brother, I guess you would call him sort of the patriarch. He was the oldest and wisest, and he tells us all, okay, let's stick together, let's all pray. Like, there's not much more we can do, let's pray. And the marina's right there, we're going to go to the marina. The marina was to the west. So we all start swimming to the marina, and I am praying like I had never prayed before, sort of a deathbed repentance type of thing. I had been so far gone, treating my wife like garbage. And as I'm swimming towards this marina, it's like, oh my gosh, every stroke that I take, I'm swimming into 3 waves. They're just coming at me. Because the wind, didn't know it, but figured out the wind was blowing directly in the opposite direction. So all these waves that had just sunk the boat were pushing me backwards. I wasn't making any progress. And I had this, whether you call it common sense, whether you call it an epiphany, whether you call it revelation, whatever you want to call it, obviously I need to turn around because we're not going to make it to the marina. So I turned to my brother, who had been helping my buddy get his shoes off because he had big steel-toed boots on. Oh, yeah, he couldn't get them off because the only thing he had to grab onto and float with was the big, red, stinky, smelly gas can that we were using to power the boat with. So he's literally holding on to this big thing about this big, and he can't get down to untie his boots that were all like super heavy. And all he's supposed to be able, all he can do is kick in order to swim. So my brother goes back and he helps him. So we're kind of strung out. His wife was very in shape. She was training for a marathon, and she's way out in front of us. I had recently gained 100 pounds in a year. That's how depressed and how much I drank and ate garbage and didn't care about myself. And so we kind of got this sort of spread out. It was her, then it was me, and it was my brother and my friend were back behind us because the waves were pushing them further back. And as he's done, he starts swimming towards me as I had made the decision that I need to go the other way. I told him, we're not going to make it going that way. We need to go this way. And he said, you think? I said, yeah, I'm going this way. He kept swimming the other way. I'm thinking in my head to go get his wife and tell her to turn around with us and go this other way. Kept getting further and further away from him. I'm swimming this way. They swam that way. That was the last time I ever saw my brother alive or his wife. Sorry, I kind of have this thing with chewing on stuff. I probably shouldn't be doing that. It's not proper speaking etiquette or whatever, but you guys, you're okay with this, right? So I convinced my buddy Mike to turn around and come with me. And as we're swimming, he turns to me and says, are we going to die? It's kind of a good question to ask at that time. But I didn't hear that. I didn't hear him ask, are we going to die? What I heard was God, the universe, call it whatever you want, asking me, do you really want to die? You've been telling your wife for a year, torturing her, telling her to shoot you in the head, trying to manipulate and force her into saying that she loves you and then lying to, and then telling her she's a liar. So, if you really want to die, here you go. I just served it up to you on a silver platter. Just let go, come home, and we'll call it good. But the choice is yours. If you really want to live, if you decide you want to live, you can live. I turned to my buddy and I said, nope, we're going to live. All we've got to do is just keep swimming. We've got a long way to go. If we don't give up, if we keep swimming, we can make it. I knew from that very moment, when I was told that it was a choice, when I realized it was a choice, I knew that I was going to live. I didn't doubt it. I didn't fear. I didn't think maybe. I knew when I was given that choice that I was going to live and that all I had to do was just keep swimming and I would make it. And I kid you not, at that moment when I told him all we got to do is just keep swimming, Ellen DeGeneres as a little blue fish popped into my head, and I sang in my head, just keep swimming all the way. Because that's all I had to do in order to make it once I had made that choice that I wanted to live, was just keep swimming. As we're continuing to swim in that direction, I don't know how much time I have. I don't even know how much time I've taken. As much as I want? Okay. Well, that's famous last words. I'm kind of long-winded, so feel free to get up and leave at any time. So as we're swimming in this direction, I'm looking at the shore, and I see this point we're trying to get to, and it kind of looks like sand. I'm like, okay, I'm focused, laser, that's where we got to go. Keep swimming in that direction, we'll make it. And as we make a little bit of progress, I'm looking and I realize, you know what? Those are actually rocks. That's not sand. So I now have a gauge that's telling me I'm making progress because what I thought was sand or whatever was getting bigger, and I realized that those were actually rocks. There's another principle there about measuring and testing your progress and adjusting your course depending on whether or not you're making progress, right? So I'm seeing this and I'm continuing to look. Now, how many of you guys have seen the movie The Secret or have heard about the law of attraction? It was really big back in like 2008 or whenever. And the law of attraction, I think most people misunderstand almost entirely. I think most people get it almost exactly backwards. I experienced, I feel, the actual real law of attraction, which I think is a lot about faith and belief, but they call it the law of attraction, they call it the secret, so they can market it better. But what I experienced in that lake was real faith, real belief. I made that choice, and it was so ingrained in me, a choice that I knew without a shadow of a doubt I was going to make it, that I started experiencing things that were going to happen in the future. I wasn't sitting there trying to think like some people do on their couch when they're trying to do the law of attraction. I wasn't sitting there thinking, man, I got to try. I'm going to get myself in that place, and you're just sitting there trying as hard as you can to put yourself in a future state where you already have it, etc., if you understand the law of attraction. Right? So most people are constantly trying to put themselves in that place. Well, if you understand the law of attraction, it's all about being there, and then it effortlessly comes to you. So if you're trying like crazy to get there, you're telling your mind and the universe that you're not there and that it's really hard to get there. Contrast that to what was happening with me in the lake. I was having a literal conversation with my wife, face to face with her. And I heard her tell me, I heard her tell me, dear, I'm so glad you made it. I don't know if I could have gone on without you. As terrible as I'd been to her, that's what she was saying to me as I'm visualizing this, as I'm swimming through this water. I know I'm going to make it, and I know she's going to say that to me. I visualized myself talking to reporters, them asking me, how did you defy how are you still alive? And telling my story to reporters. I visualized myself doing this, telling my story in front of, this isn't thousands of people, but it will be. Telling this story and helping people realize how much power is in that little question mark right there. I made the choice to live. You, right now, are sitting in that chair making a choice to look at me, making a choice to listen to me. You made a choice to drive here, fly here, however you got here from wherever you came from. So did you, so did you, so did you. And every single one of you is constantly, consistently, at every moment, choosing what you're going to do with your time, at the very least. And I don't care what you are faced with. I don't care if you are faced with certain death. You always have a choice. If I had a gun and I had a gun to your head, you have a choice. You might think, oh, I have no choice. I have to do whatever you say. You don't. You can fight me. You might get shot. It's a choice. You can run. You might get shot. It's a choice. You get to choose how you want to react to that situation. Make any choice about anything that you want to do, any life that you want, any lifestyle, any person, whatever it is that you want in your life, make a choice and then just keep swimming. Make a choice. Believe it with everything in you. See where you want to go. Keep your eye focused on where you want to go. Keep swimming towards where you want to go. And there is absolutely nothing that you can't accomplish. I don't care what your past is. I don't care if you had a terrible childhood. I don't care if your parents are the worst parents in the world or the best parents in the world and you had all the money and all the opportunity in the world. It all starts right there. You're making this choice right now. All of you are taking a leg up on most of the people out there who are living a humdrum life. You know what? I sometimes have a tendency to belittle that kind of life, and I need to stop doing that. If you love your job and you love punching the clock and you love just having somebody tell you what to do and when to do it and it's easy, by all means, keep doing that. Enjoy that. I get the feeling that you guys don't want that because you're here. You're taking time out of your busy schedule, no doubt. I doubt any of you has a ton of free time, if you're anything like me, or most people that I know. And you're taking the time to come here and learn. And you're learning from people who have done it. And if you make the choice to listen and internalize and do what Justin and all of the other people he's bringing up here tell you to do, I've done it. I'm doing it. And the way that I did it was I decided to. And I haven't stopped swimming. If you knew the ups and downs that I have had, even in just the last year, I could have quit 100 times. But I just kept swimming, and my income has absolutely exploded over the last 2.5, 3 months. We launched an offer, as Jimmy said, that I've been told by guys who supply traffic to the rest of the entire industry is one of, if not the highest ROI converting offer on the internet. So what does that do? It attracts lots of affiliates who want to come promote because they're going to make a lot of money if they do. I don't know. I came here, I literally only have like 5 slides. It stops right here because that's all you need to know. That is, I didn't mean to move to that slide yet, but all you need to know is that you have a choice. You have the choice to whether you're going to continue, and you have to continue to make that choice and never quit. If you guys do the stuff, I mean, man, if you saw where you did see where I came from, there's a couple of things that maybe separate us. And I don't know most of you. I've met a couple of you. I don't know how successful you are. You guys, maybe you're making way more than I am, and I should be sitting down there learning from you. But you're not going to get there unless you, A, make a choice, B, quit chasing the money, like I talked about before, start creating value, and then by just keep swimming, continue to create as much value as you can, continue to get smarter, continue to learn, continue to meet people. That's the biggest thing, by far, that has gotten me to where I am, is other people. The fact that I can be here right now with that kind of money coming in because I have put a team of people together that are back in Utah running my business so that I can go do the type of stuff that I'm meant to do and be somewhere like this, and my business doesn't fall apart if I'm not constantly managing it. It was probably about 2009. I was cleaning out my garage, and a calendar fell open to that picture. I don't know if you guys are Christian or know what that is, but regardless of what that picture actually is, that is what I feel happened to me. It stopped me in my tracks. I sat there, I started crying. That picture is actually, that's not a picture, that painting is actually, was painted by a family friend. I didn't know it at the time, but I found out later, Liz Lemon Swindle. She's an amazing artist. My parents are friends with her. I don't really have a lot else to teach you. You need to figure out what is holding you back. Figure out what beliefs are holding you back. Make a choice to figure out how to conquer those beliefs. Make a choice to figure out how to pick up some new skills, which you guys are already doing right here, right now. If you take and implement the stuff that you're learning here this weekend and just keep swimming, take a hand up when you need to, when you can, even if that hand up is paying someone a lot of money to show you something that you didn't know beforehand. Take it. Believe in yourself. Do your research. Make sure you're not, giving a bunch of money to some scammer who has no idea what he's talking about. But when you find someone like Justin or Jimmy, who's a real person, who's been through the trials, who's swam through all the muck to figure out something, some kind of system, something that they've been able to duplicate over and over and over, don't try and do what I did. I don't know what his story was necessarily, but I did everything myself. All the way up till about 8 months ago, I basically ran everything, built everything, designed everything, did all the copy, did everything all myself, because I was too scared to spend the money and attract very, very good people who were much better at things than I am. I met up with a guy who I had known for years. I knew what his skill set was, but I never realized that it was a perfect complement to my skill set until we sat down. I'm a kind of crazy, I'm kind of ADD, I'm a very creative person, I'm not a linear person. If you sit me down and try and get me to do a bunch of tasks, forget about it. So I come up with these crazy ideas about marketing systems and different ways to do marketing and everything else, and 99% of them are just crazy ideas that never got done because I was always too busy trying to do everything myself. So I find this guy, his name's Jeff, he's my partner now. I gave him a huge chunk of my company because he is a guy who has trained 1% of every project manager in the entire country. For 15 years, he's been going around training people how to do project management. And what does project management even mean? It's the science of getting stuff done, on the simple terms. It's how to put things in place, how to put processes and people and teams and different stuff in place to take concepts and ideas and create end products. And all my end products have almost always been kind of half functioning because I'm constantly trying to get them done. And my income was just kind of, I made a bunch of money, but it was never something that skyrocketed like this. I bring him in, and within 5 months, all of a sudden, I'm doing plenty of money, obviously. And because he's there, sending out commission checks yesterday, doing all the accounting, managing the tech team. We have a tech team of 9 guys down in Costa Rica. We have a team of people in the Philippines. We got people in Houston. We got some people in Arizona helping us out. Fresno, we got people all over. I'm creating jobs for people, and I'm getting great, very high quality people to sit down and do things that I can't do. Kristen back there does stuff that would absolutely drive me crazy if I had to do it. So I'm just, I don't know, I should have warned you at the beginning. I'm very ADD. So I probably kind of hop around on different things. But I'm hoping that you're getting a little bit out of this. I'm hoping that I've touched somebody in some way, so that I can now say, I'm not going to say I've made it, but I'm finally able to tell this story and share what I've had in my head and what I've learned. I'm writing a book because the water was 41 degrees. I'm writing a book called 41 Degrees, and I'm outlining essentially 41 different principles like choice and perseverance and not swimming against the waves and a whole bunch of things that I kind of learned as I was going through the process in the lake, and as I've had to process it and deal with it and live with the loss of my brother and his wife and move through that. It's a life transformation story If you know someone who's struggled with depression, if you've struggled yourself, if you're struggling with the business and you feel like a failure and you feel like you're just flailing around, that's where I was. And my entire mission, the thing that God said to me, the thing that I saw, was I have way more to do and I have thousands of people to help. Maybe millions. And I'm starting with you 50. Or hopefully at least one of you. If I help move one of you in the right direction, if I've helped shift the mindset of one of you, then it was worth all the struggle that I've been through to get to where I am. And I'm going to keep getting better. I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep creating as many ways that I can provide value into the marketplace as possible. And short of the internet disappearing, I don't ever expect my income to go down because I'm providing great value and people are more than willing to trade their bottle of water, or in my case, I'm more than willing, they're more than willing to give me money for a bottle of water that fills a need for them. A lot of people, one of the biggest stumbling blocks for people is that mindset switch between when you feel like you are qualified to create your own product. You're sitting here, you're trying to learn, maybe you've generated a couple of leads online, maybe you've made some sales, maybe you're making some great money, and there comes this point where you realize, I have something valuable that I can teach people. I was at that dead-end job that I was talking about. I was managing this department, selling millions and millions of dollars worth of advertising to people like you who were trying to make money from home. Meanwhile, I'm doing barbecues and Thursday night meetings at my house trying to grow one of these MLM businesses. Failing for 7 years trying to do it that way while I'm working at a marketing company. Hello? Selling ads to people telling them, hey, you can market online, generate leads, grow your business. Meanwhile, I'm going to go have a barbecue, have fun. So I'm doing all this stuff and my business is just kind of bleh. And I show up at work one day after this big thing that I tried to do and it failed and blew up in my face, and I'd kind of told all my colleagues at work who weren't in it with me that they're crazy and, you know, sort of like, this is it, I'm making it, I'm never coming back here, blah, blah, blah. Blew up in my face, so I kind of come back into work on Monday and I'm just sitting in my cubicle. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I'm online looking at stuff. And I come across an ad on our site that I had sold for a book that could show you how to make money on the internet and use the internet to grow your business. That's kind of click. Oh, I know how to do this stuff. I've been selling it for 5 years. I've been managing teams of people that are doing it for 5 years. I'm going to see what this guy says. I bought his book. Loved every word of it. Did what he said to do in the book. He had this program set up where you could sell his book to other people to generate leads and use those leads to grow your business. But oh, by the way, you can only do that if you're in my downline in this company. Well, his company was a competitor of mine. So what did I have to do? I had to actually do what he said to do in the book instead of just taking his book and selling it to other people. So I implemented the process. I started building a website. I had no idea what I was doing. You know, if you want to teach yourself how to design websites, go find a website that you like. Go steal one of Justin's and break it. Open up the code and go in there and start changing. That's how I taught myself how to do web design. And I design most of our stuff now. You change this here, save it. Oh, that was bad. Undo. Now I know what that is. And I slowly taught myself how to build my own websites. I taught myself Photoshop. I taught myself how to do these things, working from scratch while completely depressed. I could pretty much guarantee that none of you are as bad off in as bad a position as newbie as I was when I first got started. I kept swimming. I kept learning. I kept creating as many different valuable products, trainings, giving as much value into the marketplace as I can, meeting as many very talented people as I could meet. Now building a team of people who have skills that I do not have, paying them very well for it. I don't know. I'm trying to paint a picture. I'm trying to help you believe and make the choice that this really is possible for you. Internalize when you're laying in bed by yourself, deep down, believe and make the choice that this is possible for you because you are never going to stop swimming. Hopefully, I've accomplished that, and I can walk out of here a successful internet marketer. Thank you.
Kimball, I have to say bring your kids up. Bring your kids up.
Come here.
I have to say personally, I've known you for a long time, and I've heard your stories. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. That was very, very inspiring.
By the way, my beautiful wife, Brooke, I love you. I would not be here if she wasn't the strongest, most understanding, beautiful, amazing woman in the world. I'm sorry for those of you who are married, but I won. Okay? I am the winner. Thank you. And this is Miranda. She wouldn't be here if this didn't happen. This is Tommy. He wouldn't be here if that didn't happen. I wouldn't be where I am today if I had stopped swimming, figuratively, spiritually. So anything you want in life, anything at all that you want in life, you can have it. Okay? Sorry, Jimmy.
I think that deserves a huge standing ovation for that. That was inspiring.